Hello boyos, it's Rich Boy J here back in with another video, and this is going to be part 16 of the Vardos MOC build series. This week I worked on the two buildings right behind this big building over here, so you guys are going to see quite a bit of progress on those. In fact, they are almost done. Before I get into the video, I do want to say special thanks to this week's donators on the live streams. So special thanks to Collecting Bricks, Brick Hunter, Jedi Bob, and Patrick Lambrecht. Those guys were very awesome in donating to the live stream. If you guys aren't joining in those live streams, I definitely urge you to do so. It is a great time to not only see the MOC before the update video, but to also hang out with a bunch of people and talk some good Star Wars stuff. So this week, like I said, I worked on the two buildings over there. I'm also going to go over a few logistical things. I've noticed that because of the wave of new subscribers to this channel, they aren't really aware of a lot of the things that I've talked about that I'm going to be incorporating into the MOC. So I'm going to go over a few things like that. And without further ado, guys, let's jump right into it. So before we dive into the build progress, I did want to show you guys this beauty right here. A few people in the comment section last week were saying, oh, you should have an AT-AT walker walking through the streets like there is in the video game. And of course, obviously, here it is. This is actually one of the things that kind of helped me decide to do this MOC, the fact that I did have my own custom AT-AT walker ready to go. I guess it's not really ready to go. It's still in the first order AT-AT version. You can see a few of the things are still left over from the crate MOC that Garrett and I did, but I'm going to get that converted over back to the original Imperial version, and yes, this bad boy will be in this MOC. So it'll be in this general area. There's going to be a street that kind of leads right up to this big wall right here, so that's where that's going to go. The other thing I did want to mention is, I think another person also mentioned you should have a TIE fighter. Well, here it is. Got a JRX TIE fighter right here, ready to go for the MOC, and this is something that I feel, has been really talked about in the comment section on this MOC, and that is just the scale, the fact that obviously big Imperial shuttle, minifig scale TIE fighter, and not minifig scale Corvus, and this is really just one of the limitations of building on this kind of confined scale. Like, it would have been a lot for me to design and build a minifig scale Corvus. It would probably take up like probably half of this entire space that I've allotted to build this MOC, so I like to just build something that would cover up this entire landing platform, and I think that it looks alright to me. It doesn't look too out of scale, like especially when you compare it to the minifigures. In the video game, you don't get too great of a view of this thing, right next to a person, but I think it looks fine on that side. The only thing that does kind of throw the scale off, I would say, is the TIE fighter, simply because in the game you do see that basically right there, and there is a TIE fighter hangar where multiple TIE fighters can be, so obviously that is not to scale. Which has me thinking that maybe I won't have the TIE fighter on the landing platform. Maybe I will, who knows. I've had a few people say get a smaller TIE fighter and shuttle, but then that would raise the problem, okay, then those things are going to be out of scale with the figures. Then, like, as a builder, I would rather just have as many things minifig scale as possible, and for the most part, I've been able to keep up with that, but the Corvus, it would just obviously be a bit much for me to try to build that at minifig scale. But let me know, guys, is it something that really concerns you about the MOC? It really didn't bother me until people started mentioning it, then I kind of gave it a second thought. But all in all, I don't know, I think I'm pretty happy with the direction of this MOC. So let me know what you think about it, and we're going to go ahead and move into the actual build progress. And here's this week's main event. Obviously, I have two buildings, finally. Well, I have three buildings in total, but I have two of these types of buildings right here, kind of bookending each side of this little pathway that you take from the landing platform over there. They're basically mirror images of each other. There's a few details on this one that I haven't yet added just because I ran out of parts. Like, so you'll notice, obviously I have like the plants on that one, don't have it on this side on the front or the back, so gonna have to put in some bricklink orders for those. And this one is all wired up, so whenever I finish showing you off the progress with the lights on, I'll turn the lights off and then turn the MOC lights on. It's so confusing saying that. Hopefully you guys understand exactly what I mean. But yeah, so I'm really happy with the way this looks. It's so cool to finally see more and more of these buildings being erected here in this MOC. Like, if you look at it, like, it's really starting to resemble somewhat of a city with the multiple buildings. I think this is probably my favorite angle of this MOC right now, just because it allows you to see all three buildings and this little courtyard in here, the little pathway. And hopefully between now and the next update, I get all this junk cleared off and actually build something there. That way this will look more and more like a complete scene. So really happy with the way all of this looks. If you take a look back around on this side, you'll see that also worked a bit on the back of these buildings. So there are actually lights in there. You guys will see that whenever I turn them on. But obviously got the plants on the reverse side of this. Really happy about that. Gonna have to do the same thing over there. But yeah, this is actually a pretty cool camera angle too. Just looking from this side through there at the other building, it is really, really starting to feel like Vardos. So that makes me a very happy camper. One of the things that was really difficult to do with these buildings was really just the wiring, like trying to get everything ran through. You can see there's lights that go on the front side, and then there's the light that goes to the back, and having to run that like through the bottom of the building, it took me a bit of time to like think about how exactly I wanted to do it to ensure that there would be space for the wire. So one of the biggest challenges with really having lights in any MOC is figuring out where the heck the wires are going to go. I did have someone ask me on your question, I think it was your questions answered. It may have been on one of the Vardos videos, but anyways, they asked me, if I ever had to modify any pieces in order to get the wires to go through it. I'm glad to say I have not had to do that yet, and my goal is to not ever have to do that. One of my general LEGO rules is, not modifying pieces. So that is something that I'm going to try to avoid. But nonetheless, I've been able to avoid that, and it's working out pretty well. Obviously, I've been able to incorporate lights in pretty much every location that I've wanted to, so that is a great thing. My initial plan was to have a part of a barricade kind of go straight through here. What I did not realize, however, is that because that little plant area protrudes from the MOC, it kind of blocks up like that area right there, so I can't just have a barricade go straight through. So I'm gonna have to figure out a more creative way to kind of bridge those two barricades. In the game, there's like a cargo crate that kind of covers up that area, and there's also a barricade, but it's kind of like leaning against it, so maybe I'll consider something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, I done goofed. I did not consider the fact that I would not have enough space for that. So not the worst thing in the world. I'm sure I'll get it figured out. But yeah, also one of the things that I have been designing on this building, and I don't know if I've ever highlighted it on these videos, but you can see that like that's my kind of pattern for the door area. I have it on this side as well. I'm sure you guys have seen it. I've never actually like talked about it, but I really do like the way that looks. It looks like a pretty cool door design. Looks elegant, as I would describe. Looks like it fits on Vardos, so I'm happy with that. Let me know what you guys think about that. And that's really all I have to show you in so far as like what I've built. Actually, there is one more thing. I did end up adding one of those like Deathstar Wall kind of patterns on the side of this building, similar to how it's over here. I just thought that, maybe I could break up a little of the monotony of just having a bunch of dark gray bricks by adding one of those in there. And I do think it looks pretty good. So I'm happy with the way that is, man. These, if you guys are planning on doing anything like this, just know that like these pieces, the like mixel teeth pieces, are like super expensive, so consider that whenever you decide to maybe do something like this. I didn't realize it. I've literally taken all of mine from like the little minifigure sized porgs that I've had, and it's been a bit much, so I'm going to have to put in order to get a bunch more because those patterns are going to appear all throughout this MOC. So yeah, I've backed myself into a corner now. I can't really get out of it, but I think it looks good, so I would say it's definitely worth paying the price of them. So that's going to finish up the building portion of this video. I'm going to go ahead and turn the lights in the room off so you guys can see what this thing looks like under the Vardos lights. Alright, we got us some lights on Vardos, so you can see got those lights on the front of that building wired up, and this whole area, this is probably the area with the most lights per square base plate or whatever. Lots of lights going all throughout this area, and I do think it looks really, really nice. Like I said in the last video, I would like to be able to display this MOC under like literally no light with the lights off, so that means I'm going to have to make sure that none of the areas are too dark to show it off that way, and having this area with so many lights really does help that out, because especially with like the big buildings kind of towering around everything, it does help like have light reflect off of it and make this area look very lively. So I am really happy with the way that looks. And if we come back over here to the reverse side, you can see, like I mentioned before, there are lights coming out of those that'll kind of shine on those plants right there, so I think that'll make it look pretty cool. I don't know, I like the fact that the lights kind of shine on the plants. I think it really does help further illuminate Obviously, it helps further illuminate the plants, but it helps bring more attention to the red elements of the MOC, which I feel are great accent color to the light grays and dark grays that we see. So this is really all I got to show for you guys this week. I'm happy with the progress. Definitely let me know what you think, but we can go ahead and move on to the end of the video. And that's going to finish up the video this week, guys. Please let me know what you think about my progress in the comment section below. I am really happy with those buildings that I've been working on. I'm also really excited to continue working on past that area into that big main courtyard. It's finally, I can feel myself converging onto that area. I do have a few orders that I'm going to need to place in order to really finish off those buildings, which kind of concerns me because obviously this is a holiday week, which means that I probably won't be able to get those orders in by the next update, which is totally fine. I'll be just working on other things in order to make sure I have some good progress done on the MOC between now and the next update. I am super excited that I finally got an update out on time. I can't even remember like how long the streak was of me not having updates out on the Sunday. So glad I was able to do that for you guys, and I do hope that you guys are enjoying this series thus far. Moving forward, like I said, going to be working on that big courtyard, but outside of the Vardos MOC build series, I am actually going to be putting out a pretty cool Christmas video. So if you guys are around on Christmas Day, I definitely would like for you to check that out. I think you are really going to enjoy it. So that's going to finish up the video today, guys. Like I always say, go ahead and smash the like button to support the video and smash the subscribe button to support the channel, and I'll be back again very soon.